He driving down a lonely highway when you see an elderly woman crying beside her broken-down car. He pull over to help, but what happens next will change everything. He thought he knew about fate. The steam rising from the Honda Civic's hood caught Marcus Whitehorse's attention first. Then he saw her, an elderly white woman in a floral dress, standing helplessly beside her car on the shoulder of Highway 87, dabbing at her eyes with a tissue. Marcus didn't hesitate. He pulled his pickup truck behind her car and stepped out, his long black hair catching the New Mexico wind. "Ma'am, you need some help?" The woman looked up, startled. Her eyes were red-rimmed, and for a moment Marcus saw something flicker across her face. Was it fear? Recognition? He couldn't tell. "Oh, I don't want to be any trouble," she said, her voice shaky. "No trouble at all. I'm Marcus. What seems to be the problem?" She gestured weakly at the car. "It just started overheating. I was driving to Santa Fe to visit my grandson, and..." Her voice broke. "I'm sorry. I'm just not good with cars. My husband used to handle all this." Marcus nodded gently. "Let me take a look. What's your name, ma'am?" "Dorothy. Dorothy Peterson." Something about that name tugged at Marcus's memory, but he pushed it aside and focused on the car. He popped the hood, steam billowing out. The radiator was bone dry. "When's the last time you had coolant added?" he asked. Dorothy wrung her hands. I don't know. Robert always took care of the car. He passed 6 months ago." Marcus's expression softened. "I'm sorry for your loss, but hey, this is fixable. I've got some coolant in my truck, and there's a gas station about 5 miles up the road. We'll get you back on the road." As he walked to his truck, Dorothy called out, "Why are you helping me? You don't even know me." Marcus paused, turning back. "My grandfather always said that when you help someone, you're really helping yourself. Plus, my grandmother would haunt me if I left someone stranded." He returned with a jug of coolant and began carefully adding it to the radiator. Dorothy watched, wrapping her sweater tighter around her shoulders. "You know," she said quietly, "you remind me of someone I used to know, a long time ago." "Yeah? Who's that?" Dorothy was quiet for a moment. "A man who saved my husband's life, in Korea." Marcus's hands stilled on the radiator cap. "Korea, 1952. My husband Robert was a medic. His unit got pinned down by enemy fire for 3 days. They were running out of water, ammunition, hope." She paused, and then this Native American soldier showed up, just appeared out of nowhere in the middle of the night. He'd been tracking enemy movements, and he guided them to safety. Marcus felt his heart skip. What was his name? Joseph. Joseph Whitehorse. He was Navajo, I think. Robert never forgot him. Said Joseph saved not just his life, but the lives of 12 other soldiers that night. The coolant jug slipped from Marcus's hands, clattering on the asphalt. He stared at Dorothy, his mind racing. "Joseph Whitehorse was my grandfather." Dorothy's eyes widened. That's impossible. He was a code talker in World War II, then stayed in the military, served in Korea. He used to tell me stories about that night, about the medic whose unit he guided to safety. A man named Peterson. Dorothy's hand flew to her mouth. "Robert Peterson. That was my Robert." The wind seemed to still around them. Two strangers on a lonely highway, connected by a thread of history neither could have imagined. "Your grandfather," Dorothy whispered, tears streaming down her face. "He gave me back my husband. We had 47 years together because of him. 3 children, 8 grandchildren." Marcus felt his own eyes welling up. Grandfather passed 5 years ago. He always wondered what happened to the soldiers he helped that night. Robert tried to find him after the war. He wanted to thank him properly. But military records, bureaucracy, it was different then. Marcus wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. He would have loved to know that. He carried those memories with him until the end. Dorothy reached into her purse and pulled out a faded photograph. "I carry this everywhere. It's the only picture Robert had from Korea." She handed it to Marcus. In the black and white photo, a young white soldier in a medic's uniform stood next to a Native American soldier. Both were smiling, despite the war-torn landscape behind them. "That's your grandfather," Dorothy said. "And that's my Robert." Marcus stared at the photo, seeing his grandfather's face as a young man, the same proud jawline, the same gentle eyes that had told him countless stories by the fire. "I can't believe this," he murmured. "Robert used to say that some meetings aren't coincidences. He said the universe has a way of bringing people together when they need each other most." Marcus looked up from the photo. "Keep it, but can I take a picture of it with my phone? My family should see this." "Of course. But Marcus, I want you to have something else." She reached into her purse again and pulled out a small silver medal. "This is Robert's bronze star. He always said it should have gone to your grandfather. Joseph was the real hero that night." Marcus's hands trembled as he took the medal. "I can't accept this." "You can and you will. Your grandfather saved my husband's life. You just saved mine in more ways than one. I was driving to Santa Fe to spread some of Robert's ashes. I've been so lost without him, questioning everything, feeling so alone. But meeting you, it feels like Robert is telling me he's okay, that the circle is complete. Marcus closed his fingers around the medal. He would be honored. We both are. They stood there for a moment. Two people connected across generations by an act of kindness that had rippled through time. Your car should be fine now, Marcus said finally, but I want you to have my number. If you ever need anything, car trouble, groceries, just someone to talk to, you call me. Family takes care of family. Dorothy smiled through her tears. Family. My grandfather saved your husband. Your husband gave you a beautiful life. You're sharing that story with me. That makes us family in the way that matters most. As Dorothy prepared to leave, she rolled down her window. Marcus, what you did today, stopping to help a stranger, that's exactly what your grandfather would have done. How do you know? Because, she said, her eyes twinkling, kindness runs in families, and some families are bigger than we ever imagined. Marcus watched her taillights disappear down the highway, then looked at the medal in his hand. On the back in faded engraving it read, "For valor in action against an enemy of the United States." He thought about his grandfather's words. When you help someone, you're really helping yourself. Today, he'd helped Dorothy fix her car. But she'd given him something far more valuable, the knowledge that his grandfather's legacy of kindness was still alive, still making a difference, still connecting hearts across time and space. As he drove home, Marcus couldn't wait to call his family. They needed to hear this story. They needed to know that sometimes, the kindness we put into the world comes back to us in ways we never expect. Some people call it coincidence, others call it fate. Marcus called it family. Sometimes the most ordinary moments become the most extraordinary memories. A broken down car, a jug of coolant, and two strangers who discovered they were never strangers at all. What act of kindness will you perform today? You never know whose life you might touch, or how it might change your own.